So your ability to grow a successful business is going to be dependent on your ability to work with and through other people. And this is the hard part. This is where the game of entrepreneurship kills most entrepreneurs, where they reach the upper limit of their complexity ceiling. They will never grow past it because there's a pain line that they just simply won't push through. And the reason they won't push through it is because bringing people in, training them, setting expectations, holding accountability, it's very difficult. And most people, when they're new to it, doing difficult things, they suck at it. And so they maybe bring in their first hire, they train them, they set them, they say, do this thing. And then, a couple weeks go by and they're like, it's not done the way I want it to be. What happened? And then they get frustrated because this person's taking longer to do the thing and they're doing it at a lower quality than the entrepreneur themselves could have done it. And now they're like, what's the point of this person over here? They're just taking up mental bandwidth. I'm just going to let them go. I'm just going to take everything back. And that is a recipe for staying small and getting burnt out. So, and I'm sharing this from firsthand experience because I have done this before. And I'm sharing this because I had just had a conversation with the news yesterday. I want to kind of pull back the veil and show you 3 techniques, 3 ideas that you can take when working with people, whether that's your direct reports or coaching your leaders in your business who then themselves have direct reports underneath of them. Because that's another really interesting idea, right? Is that as your business grows, you're going to have no more than 5 to 7 direct reports, right? So the first 5 to 7 hires are going to report to you. From hires 5 through 25, they are now going to be, there's a new level of hierarchy in the organization as they report to the people who report to you. And you have to train your people who report to you on how you expect the people that report to them to report to them. So you have to teach them how to lead. You can't just lead them, you have to teach them how to lead, right? So here's 3 ideas, whether you're at that first phase where you still have your 5 to 7 direct reports and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I lead these people? Or you're at that phase now where you have the people who are leading people and you have to teach them how to lead, okay? So here's 3 ideas. Number 1, the first one is when you will inevitably be confused or frustrated or annoyed, we'll say, about why isn't this thing getting done or on the way that I want it to get done or the timeline that I want it to get done. If you ever find yourself in that, here's what you do is you bring the person in, you have a conversation, and the first thing you ask them is, tell me what you believe your job is. Tell me what you believe is the most high importance, high priority project or goal that you are currently running towards, right? That's important because quite often the reason people aren't hitting our expectations is simply because we haven't articulated the expectation clearly enough. Or at some point in our minds, we shifted the expectation and we never updated the other person. We just held them to this new expectation and never told them, oh yeah, that old thing, yeah, that's no longer. We moved, we shifted, right? And so we operate in this paradigm where person A, the person you're frustrated with, is running towards a different expectation. They have a different idea of the priorities than you do. So that's step 1, is get them to articulate to you, what is your most important job here? What is the priorities that you're running towards? And as they start to tell you that, almost always will you realize in that moment, that's why. It's not that they weren't treating this thing importantly, that they didn't care about it. It's just they listed 3 other things above it. And you go, what I really wanted was that thing to be higher on the list. We need to reorganize that. So when you reorganize things, here's step number 2, is you want to understand the scope of the project. Bezos talks about this in one of his shareholder letters. The reason that we're often frustrated by people's output is because we didn't clearly define the scope of the project from the beginning. And so if I say, hey, Alice, in HR, we need to hire these 5 people, good luck, Godspeed. But if I don't define the scope and say, hey, I expect this to take 2 weeks versus I expect this to take 12 months, very different scope, very different expectation of the time that's going to be required. Now, 12 months for 5 hires might seem outrageous, but if they are C-suites, if that's a CEO, a CMO, a CTO, that might take 12 to 18 months, right? But if I'm sitting here saying, we have these 5 new hires, frontliners, sales, we need that filled 2 weeks, right? Different scope, different expectation. And often once you say, okay, here's what we need to do, we can ask them, rather than telling them how long it should take, is ask them, how long do you think that will take? Get them to give you that answer. We need to hire these 5 frontliners. How long do you think that'll take? Oh, I think that's going to take 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Oh, interesting. Okay. Why 4 weeks? And then they break down what exactly goes into it. And you're like, I see. Actually, we can do it in 2 weeks. Cut out this stuff. Focus here, right? Now, here's the important thing. Is when you ask somebody how long something will take, you'll get one of 2 answers. It's almost always answer A that they give you, not realizing what was the more important answer is answer B. Answer A is, hey, how long do you think this will take you? Oh, I think that'll take me 4 days. 4 days to do 4 days. That's 32 hours. This task is going to take you 32 hours of concerted work. Well, no, it'll take me about, probably 2 hours for this, 2 hours for that, 6 hours for this. So probably about like 7 hours total. 2 different answers. The reason they say 4 days is because they don't have 7 hours to give today to the thing, right? So they have an hour tomorrow, 2 hours the next day, 3 hours the next day that they can allocate towards it, and it's going to take them 4 days. But the task itself is only going to take 7 hours. These are very important numbers to understand because your employees will tell you answer A. What you want to know is answer B, because answer B will tell you where you can slot things in. If they come back and they say, it's going to take me 7 hours, you go, no. I only want this to take 2 hours. If it takes more than 2 hours, stop. Do everything that you can within the 2 hours and then stop. That's good enough, right? Or say, cool, 7 hours is perfect. That's fine. Or, hey, take 15 hours. I want this to be really freaking good, right? So number one is if they tell you a number that you go, that's not in alignment with what my expectations are, you can recalibrate it. Listen, this video right now, it's a quick video for Instagram. We don't need to do a 20-hour edit on it. So if I ask you how long is this going to take and you tell me it's going to take me 20 hours, I'm going to be like, no. You get 2. 2 hours to edit it, get it up, get it out, and we'll move on. Cool. I just saved us 18 hours. And it's better to learn that at the front than the back, right? So now answer number 2. If somebody tells you it's going to take you, or answer number 1, if somebody tells you it's going to take them 4 days to do the thing, and you're like, well, what the hell? I don't want to sit around waiting 4 days. I would like this tomorrow. I would like this by end of day. Then you ask them, well, how many hours is it going to take? It's going to take me 7 hours. Cool. Show me your calendar for the next day. Let me look at it. Now your job as the leader is to help them prioritize and say, this thing that you were going to do during this time, no longer the priority. Delete it for tomorrow. Put this in. Get this done first because it's the higher priority. You can't give somebody a higher priority task and not remove something from their schedule. If their schedule is already full, like something's got to give, and that's your job, is to help them prioritize and focus it. So that's idea number 2. Idea number 3 is that everything you do in the business should have a way of measuring whether or not you did it well or you did it poorly. You should have a way of grading it. You should be able to look at the inputs and say, that was an A, that was a B, that was a C. And that's the way you grade that is based off the SOP or the checklist associated with this task. So good example of this is we were talking specifically about this podcast on YouTube. So one of the questions I asked Anuj is, okay, how do you, what's the checklist? How do you know if it's a great video that goes out? And he started listing, the video, the lighting is good, the audio is good, has the graphics at the beginning for subscribing, it has good title, good thumbnail, has 2 different versions to A/B test on the thumbnail, right? All these things, rips them off. There's one on there that he mentioned that was putting timestamps in there, right? Now, the reason I asked the question is I wanted to know how he measured whether it was a good video or not, to see if there was a discrepancy between what he was doing and what I expected. Is there something that wasn't being done that should be on that list? Because I asked the question for a very particular reason, and it actually had to do with timestamps. The reason it had something to do with timestamps is one of our videos from last week was a book video. And people kept asking, what are the books? What are the books? And I kept having to answer the question in the comments. I was like, why isn't it just say it in like the timestamps where they can click to it and they can see the book right then and there, right? So I looked at the video and there were no timestamps. So when Anuj says, one of the things to know if the video is good is we timestamp. And I go, wait, that's interesting. That's one of the things on the list. And yet, for some reason, it wasn't here. We have a discrepancy. That's where you dig in. So I immediately pulled up in my phone. I go to YouTube and I say, I don't see a timestamp here. I go, so what's in the description? So I look in the description. There are timestamps there, but the timestamps aren't pulling up into the video. Aha! So now we have a problem to solve. right? So he's doing the thing, but the thing isn't getting the desired result, right? But we could not have diagnosed that. We could not have problem solved that if we did not know what does a good video look like? What are the checks that we look for to say, is this excellent or not? If you don't have that, then every time you look at a video, you're just kind of going, yeah, it looks pretty good, right? Like, you got this, you got that, you got this other thing. But at the highest level, championships are won by the execution of fundamentals at an excellent level, right? Fundamentals executed with excellence is what wins championships. So details, details, details. And when you do something in your business to a certain level, which you as the entrepreneur have the ability to do, that's why your business is where it's at, you will start to bring people in, and they will not do it at your level. They will do it just a little bit below. So your job is to constantly train them and hold the standard to bring them up, to get them to the level that you were at before you brought them in. And then ideally, you get them there as quickly as possible, and then they outgrow you. And now they're telling you all the things, and you're like, oh shit, I never even knew that. I wasn't doing that before. That's how your business grows. It's not the genius with 1,000 hands, people who are just working as an extension of your brain. It's 1,000 geniuses all working towards the same outcome. So your goal is to equip your people to make them geniuses. You do that, I promise you will have all the growth you could ever want, and then more. So if you guys found this valuable, let me know. Shoot me a comment. Take a picture, and share it on Instagram. Find me, the Anthony Vicino. I love interacting with you guys. You're my favorite people in the world, because you sat here and you listened to my voice for like 10 minutes. That's my barometer for, liking people. Can they listen to me for long periods of time? That's why I don't like my family all that much. They can't. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's get out of here. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to go give your dad a big kiss on the lips.